scout team out there today. How you feeling?
Yeah, great. Finally get a chance to work on things that we need to clean up from camp, and also just get our first look at our opponent. So it's really good. Guys are flying around. I thought the guys had a lot of energy.
What's your focal point on a day like today when you know you're a week out?
Communication, running the football effort, and communication were really our emphasis today. It's always a little loud in here, which gives us the best feel for what home is going to be. You know what I mean? How loud it's going to be. So, yeah, we always like coming in here because it's kind of chaotic. So guys are forced to communicate and run to the football.
Even with 60% humidity.
Yeah, it was pretty thick in here today.
Coach Kenny just talked about how much Montana has improved from spring to fall. Yeah. What are you seeing out of him growth-wise?
Yeah, just maturity. He's just learned. He's been in every meeting since I've ever been here with the safeties. So his maturity and he's playing really, really fast right now. So talking about an elite athlete, and now he's putting it together in terms of what he's supposed to do in our scheme, and it's fun to see his growth.
As good as your two deep is at cornerback, Joseph Simpson was not in the scout jersey. Can you talk about his progression from the day of after campus until now?
Yeah, he's just the guy is just one of those guys that he played every sport in high school. If you put him on the basketball court, he's probably one of the best basketball players on our team. He's a guy who just has a high football IQ, and now that we're able to pare things down in terms of camp, where we threw so much at him on a daily basis, now going into prepping for a game, we think that he's really going to flourish. We think he's going to be a special player down the road.
Coach, how do you feel a guy like Jack Hall is drawn too? I mean, I know early on because some players were watching the reps and stuff like that, but he got a lot more. How do you feel he grew?
Just again, the maturity standpoint, sometimes it takes guys a little bit to understand our process and just the day-to-day work that's involved and the day-to-day development that they need to take upon themselves in order to be able to contribute and get into too deep in our program. And Jack's one of those guys. I mean, we brought him on back in the walk-on era believing that he could turn himself into a scholarship-type player, and he's done that.
Zach Swanson's been back in 11s after the injury in spring, and how's he looking? What do you think about just kind of player that he is?
Yeah, I mean, he's a great person. He brings a lot of energy. His teammates love him. His first practice last week, he made a couple plays, and the whole D-line went crazy. It just shows you how much and what a big part of our program he is. And I can't wait to see him get back to that same form that he was at in the spring. But he's ahead of where we thought he'd be, and that was a guy that was battling to start. So he's in terms of who he was in the spring. So when he gets back to full health, he's going to be a problem for the teams that we line him up against.
And what are you seeing at nickel right now?
Just two really good athletes, just competing every day and getting themselves ready to play, and both guys are going to help us tremendously this year.
And you said that's a position where it's not one guy that gets the majority of the snaps. Is that how you're approaching it?
We'll see. Yeah.
Coach, when you talk about the depth too, the linebackers that we have back, I know I asked you before, but just the speed that they can play with and how much more comfortable they are in your defense, how have they just elevated the defense?
Yeah, I mean, they're just they come prepared. They come with a lot of confidence, and that's a credit to Coach Coop and the preparation, and Coach Silver, the preparation that they give those guys on a daily basis. They don't ever take a day off. There's not a day where it's not the urgency in the meetings and the walkthroughs and their communication, just top to bottom. We got a special group in those guys, and you're going to see how fast those guys play this year and how effective they are.
How have you seen the defense improve from the beginning of fall to now?
Here's the biggest thing. They've just improved mentally and understanding situations and understanding just what their responsibilities are. We've built depth in our 3 deep on defense, which is a definite positive coming out of fall camp. And each and every day we loaded these guys up mentally in fall camp, so now they get they're going to get the game plan as we move throughout the week towards our first game, and it's just the game plans are a lot simpler because you're practicing the same calls throughout the course of the week. Whereas in fall camp, we were giving those guys not a completely new menu, but different menus almost every day to put the onus on those guys to communicate and to be able to see looks and be able to play those looks. And so I'm excited to see them put this together for game one.
What do you think the prospects are for Albert Smith or Ramar Williams to get on the field in either set packages or base downs?
I think the prospects are very high.
And why?
Just their development, their understanding, the strengths that those guys both bring. Omar, he's really developed into. I think he's going to be a special player here, as long as he continues to grow the way that he is, and he's patient with it too, and he's doing it the right way. He's going to be an every down player before you know it here, and an impact player in the Big 12. I think also. Bert just can, he's dynamic off the edge. You're talking about he's just different. He just gives a different speed in the pass rush. And he's so technically sound in terms of our base stuff. So that the object is to give those guys more reps to continue to develop those guys.
Not even specifically on the field, but off the field, are there any younger defenders that you see really step up as leaders?
Yeah, I mean, we have such a strong leadership contingent. We try to teach our guys that you can't be a leader until you can't be a great leader until you're a great follower. And sometimes guys just get put into leadership positions that aren't ready for it, but you put them in those positions so they can observe and see why and see how guys lead. So understanding that and listening and learning to pay attention. So we got a great young group of guys who I think have a lot of leadership qualities, but we have such a strong upperclassmen and experienced leadership group this year. It's good because those younger guys are learning from those guys that have been there and done that, and that have such high expectations for this upcoming season.